All right. Hello, yogis. Thank you for joining me today for Yin Yoga, and thank you for your continued support for the remarkable teachers at Ironwood. So we are here for Yin Yoga. We are going to start lying on the back today. Make sure you have a block with you and any other props that you use. Excuse me, if it's a cushion or bolster or blankets or whatever you use. But we will be using a block today for sure. So let's go ahead and get started lying on the back. And go ahead and close the eyes. Notice where the weight of the body meets the floor. And take a deep inhale through the nose. Relax even more deeply. Just feel yourself settling into gravity. Maybe take a couple more deep exhales like that, and each time just let go a little bit more. So you can notice wherever it is that you're storing tension or holding on. Or maybe holding in. Or maybe where you're holding back. And then bring the awareness to the breath here and allow the breath to wash up onto the shores of wherever it is that you're holding. And that gentle softening with each breath. And begin to notice how the body moves with each inhale and each exhale. And we'll keep this awareness with us as we move through the practice today. So just observing how the body moves as you breathe in various positions. Perhaps that is the advanced version, rather than how deep you can get into a particular shape. That ability to focus on this incredible shape-shifting quality of the torso with each breath brings you right into this moment. And then into this one. And bring the knees to the chest here, yogis. Give the knees a little squeeze. And come into an easy twist. Go ahead and drop the knees on over to the right side. You can keep the knees up close to the shoulder or a little bit further away, wherever they want to go this first time around. So Yin Yoga is based on a couple of different ideas. One is the traditional Chinese medicine system of the meridians, those energy lines that run through the body that are associated to a particular system or organ function. And the other is this practice of getting into the connective tissue in the body, tendons and ligaments and fascia, versus stretching muscles in a yang practice. Here we get to stress the joints and get some fluid back into the connective tissues that we lose quite often through a lot of the yang practices that we do. So each shape we get into, it might feel like a good stretch at times, but the important key here in Yin is to keep all of the muscles relaxed so that we transcend the idea of stretching muscles. And if you keep the muscles relaxed, then we're affecting the ligaments and tendons. So if you feel like you have to tense a muscle or energize something in order to get to a particular depth in a pose, then it will become a yang practice pretty quickly. The muscles win fast. So you want to make sure you keep the muscles relaxed, and then go ahead and bring the knees back to center, level out the hips and the shoulders, and then we'll come into that twist on the other side. So the real key to winning at Yin is to get into just this perfect level of discomfort that you can sit in without trying to fix it and without avoiding it. We'll be using the timer on my watch, so that's why I'm checking it often. The last few breaths here. Bring the knees back to center. Level out the hips and the shoulders. You can give the knees another squeeze here. And then slide the feet away from you. So we're going to come into Bananasana, that crescent shape of a pose. Start to walk the feet as far over to the right as you can. So all the way off of the mat,
Get them as far over as possible. And then you want to take that inside leg, the ankle, to cross onto the other one. And then you can start to shimmy the shoulders over. So you get lots of length on one side, lots of compression on the other. And breathe the same way. Notice where you feel this in the soft tissue, but then also bring the awareness deeper into the shape of the spine. The spine doing exactly what it's designed to do here. That lateral movement. Even in the most limited range of motion, yogis, there are infinite possibilities. Just notice how the body moves as you breathe in this shape. The body will slowly catch up to your ideas over time, as long as you are patient with it. Always remind it how remarkable you think it is, rather than criticizing it. And last few breaths here. Okay, yogis, move the shoulders back to center first. And then you can uncross the ankles, bend the knees, walk the feet back to center, and then level out the hips and the shoulders. So you can bring the knees to the chest. I like to take my feet wide and drop the knees in toward each other after Bananasana. So whatever you like is fine. And let's do that on the other side. Start to walk the feet all the way over to the left side as far as you can. Cross that left ankle across the other one. And then you can start to shift those shoulders over. Notice how the body moves as you breathe in this shape. And last few breaths here. Nice work, yogis. Bring the shoulders back to center, bend the knees, walk the feet back. Level out the hips and the shoulders, and take the feet about mat width apart, drop the knees in. And then bring the knees to the chest. You can give them a squeeze here. Should feel pretty good right about now. You can rock side to side, give that low back a massage. Nice work, yogis. Go ahead and grab your block and bend the knees, plant the feet. We'll come into a supported bridge pose here. So you may either start on the mid-height side of the block or on its highest side, totally up to you. You want to make sure you get that block on under the sacrum, not under the low back. So that is supported right under the sacrum. And for me, I like to take my feet maybe a little bit wider, let the knees drop out a little bit. There's no alignment rules here in a yin practice like we have in a yang style of yoga. So you can just let the knees drop out a little bit if that feels okay. Notice how the body moves as you breathe in this position. Yogis, if you have your block on its highest side, we're going to flip it onto the mid-height side. If you're already there, just hang out there for a little bit longer with us, okay? Just to bring the hips down slowly. And lift the hips, flip the block onto its flat side. Hang out here for a few breaths. And lift the hips. Move the block out from underneath you. And just take a moment here with a neutral pelvis. Take a deep inhale. And then bring the knees to the chest. Give them a squeeze. You can stay here or bring the soles of the feet together and kind of pull them in toward you. Or hold on to the outer edges of the feet. Slide the knees along either side of the rib cage into dead bug. Let the weight of the arms and shoulders be what pulls those feet down a little bit more. Just let gravity do a little bit more of the work. Even if the soles of the feet are together, let the shoulders relax a little bit. And bring the knees back to center. We're going to come into another twist here. So if there are leg variations that you want to do in this twist, you can wrap that top leg around the bottom leg. Or just keep the knees together. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes. Nice long twist. And then just take a moment to reflect on all of these amazing shapes that you've been in already, right? And the incredible ability of the spine. So it's been in rotation, forward fold, a back bend, and in lateral movement. So it's basically done everything it's designed to do. And then bring the knees back to center. Level out the hips and the shoulders, and then we'll take that twist on over to the other side. Relax the jaw. And slowly begin to bring the knees back to center. Level out the hips and the shoulders, yogis. And you can hug the knees to the chest and rock up and down the spine a few times. All right. So notice any flat spots. Try to smooth them out. I can't do that yet, so please do it for me. And then roll all the way up. And nice straight legs. Keep the feet about hip width apart, and we'll come into a forward fold here. So if you feel like it's just tight on the backs of the legs, or you're kind of stuck on the back of the pelvis a little bit, bend the knees. It's going to give you more freedom for the pelvis to tilt forward. That's what we're looking for here, is mobility of the pelvis, not stretching the hamstrings. So you can always put something under the knees for a little bit of support. And then come as far forward as you can with a nice long spine. And I really want to say that if you normally go like this in seated positions where you pull out everything out from underneath you, then go ahead and do this and put it right back where it belongs. Because what that does is it exposes the hamstrings at insertion, and it gives you, you maybe get further forward, but that's not what we're trying to work on here in a yin practice. You want to get into those soft tissues that are protecting the hamstrings and insertion. So shove it right back under you, and then come on into a forward fold. You can let the back round, let the head hang, maybe support the head on a block. Or if you like a little bit more, interlace the hands and rest them on the back of the head. You'll feel that along the fascia, along the spine, a little bit more. So totally up to you. As long as it's not comfortable, I'm happy.
Stay here for about 1 more minute. Come back to that awareness of the breath here.
Nice work. Slowly walk the torso up. Take the hands back behind you. Get some length along the front of the body. And then help the knees to bend. Give the knees a squeeze here. And then bounce the knees, rock the legs side to side. Just let all of that go. I'm going to give you a couple of options here, yogis. You may either take the feet wide and come on into a forward fold with all of those same ideas that we in the other forward fold we just did. So if you're stuck here, bend the knees, put some blocks under them. And even so, like this, even for me, is pretty easy. So bending the knees allows me to tilt the pelvis forward more, and it's a completely different experience. So this doesn't mean that you can't do something. It just means that it has a different effect, all right, on the body. So don't worry about it. You can either do that, or today is going to be one of those days where I also suggest that we take it to the wall. So get up close to a wall, lift the hips, scoot as close to the wall as you can, slowly scooting those feet away from each other. And up to you, whichever one you want to do. If you do one and then you want to do this one for the remaining time, or vice versa, go for it. Two completely different things. So that first one is about the forward mobility of the pelvis. This one is about that external movement of those femur heads and the hip joints. The big old abduction. Take a deep inhale. If you're at the wall, maybe see if you can scoot a little bit closer. If you're in a forward fold, see if you can let go just a little bit more. And last few breaths here. If you're in a forward fold, yogis, slowly start to walk the torso up. If you are at the wall, take your time. There is no rush to scoot away from the wall. And then help the knees to bend. We'll give them another hug here. Should feel pretty good. So let the knees relax and hold the knees together with the arms. That gives the psoas a really nice opportunity to relax here. And bounce the knees, rock the legs side to side. Nice work. Then we're going to meet up in child's pose. You can take the knees maybe a little bit wider than you normally have them. And come back to the awareness of the breath and how the body moves with each inhale and each exhale. Reach out through the fingertips, start to walk the hands on over to the right side. Lots of length on one side, lots of compression on the other. Just get the nice big lateral movement again. Walk the hands back to center and on over to the other side. Nice work. Walk the hands back to center. Tuck the toes and lift the hips to down dog. And start to walk the feet and the hands to meet kind of in the center of the mat. So we'll come into dangle. You can bend the knees as much as you want to here to let the belly rest on the thighs. Cross the arms. Legs straight, but also think about really letting that neck relax so the head hangs. Look at that pull of gravity in a different direction for the spine. So if your knees were bent in that seated position that we did, caterpillar, then chances are you want to keep the knees bent here as well. Notice how the body moves as you breathe in this position. And we'll stay here for about 1 more minute. Yogis, you can lift the, we're going to turn the toes out. So you've got the feet hip width apart. You can take them a little bit wider if you like. Turn the toes out and then bend the knees. And come into a squat. You can use the elbows to start to push the knees away from each other, if you like. Squatting is a lost art. So if you only did one thing a day, maybe it's just sitting in a squat for about 5 minutes. Squatting. Anything that gets the knees higher than the hips. If you feel like it's your heels are way up for tight calves or whatever reason, tuck something under there so you're not balancing on the toes. And let gravity work on the body in this direction. We are designed to do this. Keep pushing those knees away gently. It's easy to do that just by moving the hands further down. If the palms are together, just that compression is going to move the knees. About 1 more minute. Nice work. Yogis, go ahead and lift the hips. And then you can just step the hands and feet away from each other. We'll take a couple of breaths here in down dog. Kind of move in whatever way feels natural for you. And take one leg up behind you at a time, if you like. Just kind of check it out. And then go ahead and come onto the knees. Swing the legs around to the front. And we're going to meet up on the back. Rock up and down the spine a few times, please. Notice any flat spots. Try to smooth them out. Nice work. And then we'll come into one final twist here. So lots of options still. You can bring the knees over to one side. That's totally fine. Or wrap that top leg around the bottom leg. Maybe you want to keep the bottom leg straight and then drop that knee across. It's even a kind of a deeper version. Or if you want to come into everyone's favorite cat pulling tail. So you're going to hold on to that top foot and then reach back behind you for that bottom foot. But the tricky part here is to start to pull that bottom leg back. That's really what defines this pose. All right, so try not to just stay here in it. Really actively pull that leg back. So it's kind of a back bending, forward folding twist all at the same time. It's awesome. All right, so whatever twist is good for you. Good. And come back to the breath and notice how the body moves as you breathe. I'll stay here for about 1 more minute. Take a deep inhale. Nice work, yogis. Slowly begin to unwind. Level out the hips and the shoulders. And we'll take that twist on over to the other side. So any version Maybe it's different on this side. Our two sides will never be the same. So just observe it and embrace it. Relax the jaw and notice where you're gripping with the breath here. And let that go. Come back to that awareness of how the body moves. Allow for the softening. To happen with each breath. And last few breaths here. Yogis, and bring the knees back to center. Level out the hips and the shoulders. Take the feet mat width apart, drop the knees in toward each other. And bring the knees to the chest. One last squeeze, and then slide the feet away from you for Shavasana. Tuck the shoulder blades together underneath you. And relax the little space between the eyebrows. And just take a moment here to feel grateful for this physical vehicle that's brought you this far. Where would you be without it? Gently begin to bring the awareness back to the breath. Begin to deepen the breath. Take charge of the breath once again. And as if for the very first time, begin to move fingers and arms and legs. Turn the head to one side and then the other. Take a big stretch up overhead, yogis, and stretch all the way from the fingertips down through the toes, and from the toes back up through the fingertips. Hug the knees to the chest, roll on over to your left side, and come on up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed. And bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self. All that is in me bows to all that is in you, yogis, and we are all one. Namaste. And thank you for the privilege, Waheguru, fearlessness and mercy, yogis, at all times. All right, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.